We know that we've already had previously 5 sellouts at St.Andrews at Knighthead Park, and we've won every one of them. And you know what? The atmosphere is going to be absolutely, it's going to be electric in there as well, and that should hopefully motivate the players. So welcome back to Small Little Alliance FC, and we have reached that point of the season now where there's one fixture left and we're approaching the final day. And as always, it's a dramatic day, the final day. And if you are a team involved in the promotion race or challenging for the playoffs or even the relegation places, it's often a very nervy affair. And for Birmingham City, as usual, we're right in the thick of things at the bottom end of the table. And in this video, myself and Matt are going to look at the teams involved in the relegation battle, look at the fixture that they've got left, and try and work out what the various scenarios are, depending upon what the outcomes of those games will be. So I'm going to go straight over to Matt. And, firstly, Matt, before we go into the various teams, are you surprised that Birmingham are in that mix, or is there any teams in there that have surprised you?
I'm not surprised we're in this situation, especially looking at our previous 2 games of Huddersfield and Rotherham, 24th and 23rd, and we only come away with 2 points and 4 shots on target. But I know you've got a lot on your laptop in terms of each of the teams and each of their remaining games. So let's go through that and have a little chat about what we think the outcomes are going to be and sort of what the best outcome is going to be, I guess, for Blues on the final day.
Yeah, okay. So the way I thought we'd do this, we'd look at all the teams involved, starting with the team highest up in the table. So basically, there's 5 teams involved. We've got Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, ourselves, and I have still included Huddersfield at this time of recording. We'll explain that in a minute when we come to discuss them. So we're going to start off with Blackburn, who are currently in 19th place. They have 50 points, and their final fixture is away to Leicester City. Yeah. So any thoughts on that?
I mean, that is an incredibly difficult last game, isn't it? Because if Blues do beat Norwich and Blackburn lose, we actually would leapfrog Blackburn on goal difference.
Yes.
And you just never know with Blackburn what team's going to turn up. They are quite good in big games. They played Newcastle in the Cup a couple of months back and really did a good job. They've had some decent results in the league.
They won at Leeds a few weeks ago.
They won at Leeds a few weeks ago. And I think when you've got Smodics up front, it's always a dangerous team. So, I mean, on paper, for me, I say Leicester have too much quality for Blackburn, but it's the last game of the season, who knows? But if I'm going with my head, I would go for a Leicester win on that one.
Yeah, well, all they need is a draw.
Exactly.
So Blackburn only need 1 point, which is easier said than done at Leicester. But of course, if they've already won the title, what type of team are they going to play? Or are they, even if they win the title, are they just going to go out with a bang and actually sort of play a full strength team, which I think they should do.
I think they will. I think they will.
So, as we've said, Blackburn, all they need is 1 point. They get 1 point. It doesn't matter what happens in any other game, they will be safe. Yeah. Okay,
but they are playing arguably the best team in the Championship away from home.
Yes, but they can get relegated in a few scenarios. They can get relegated. I will read this off my laptop because I've worked all this out.
Go for it.
So they can get relegated if they lose and Sheffield Wednesday get a draw and Plymouth and Birmingham both win. And that's because, as you've mentioned, that because we have the same goal difference as them, then that would relegate them. But they could still potentially lose, and as long as like Plymouth also lose or we lose, then they're going to be safe. So it is very much in their hands. But I wouldn't want to be going to Leicester in my last game, if I'm really honest. That is a really tough fixture. So 1 point is fine for them. But there's lots of scenarios where they could potentially get relegated. But they are 50 points at the moment, so I'm assuming that they're going to be okay. But they're not safe because of that fixture that they've got.
Tough game.
Next, we come on to a team that have done so well to get into this position at Sheffield Wednesday. They're also on 50 points. They're in 20th, and they've just come off the back of a 3-0 home win against West Bromwich Albion, which is a playoff contending West Bromwich Albion. So what's your thoughts on them? Their last game is away to Sunderland.
I just want to put it out there, we're a family-friendly podcast. We are quite friendly and good-natured. And I just want to say fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. They have done incredible these back end of the season, and in particular these past couple of games. They've blown me away. I couldn't, when I was watching them against Blackburn, I couldn't believe what I was watching. So fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. They've done really, really well. And you know what? I'm going to call it. Sunderland are very beatable at the moment, and I'm actually going to bank Sheffield Wednesday to go up there and get a win.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think Sheffield Wednesday have done so well. I remember we played them at St.Andrews and we beat them 2-1 really early in the season, and they were really struggling then. I think they won one game in the first 15 or 16. I can't remember the exact stats, but they sold out their away end. They were really vocal, so they've got a fantastic set of supporters as well. And they've done really, really well under Danny Rowell. They've turned it around. They just need a draw as well. They've put themselves in a position now where a draw, and I think they'll get a draw at Sunderland. I think that they'll go on to win that game, but a draw definitely. But they can get relegated if they lose, and Plymouth and Birmingham both win. So if us and Plymouth win and they lose, they would go down because we would win and be on 50 points as well. But they have a -10 goal difference compared to us, so they'd go down on goal difference in that scenario. So just to reiterate, Sheffield Wednesday, a draw would keep them up, and they'd only go down if they lose and both Plymouth and Birmingham both win.
Yeah, no, definitely. I saw a post on social earlier, and it was a Sheffield Wednesday fan just going, tense last game of the season. Sunderland fans, what are your thoughts? And the Sunderland fans were commenting, going, our team have give up. There's no way we're going to win this game. So even I think the Sunderland fans have almost resigned to the fact that this season's done and dusted. And I've just got a feeling Sheffield Wednesday are going to win.
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Next, we come to the team in 21st place, which is a team directly above our team, Birmingham City, and that is Plymouth. They got 48 points, and their last game is at home to Hull City.
I thought when Plymouth beat Leicester a couple of weeks ago, that was going to do it for them.
Yeah.
But again, they just haven't been able to reignite that form in the two games following.
Well, I thought they'd get something against Millwall, and they lost that game 1-0 at Millwall. And fair play to Millwall as well, by the way. They've done very well. But what do you think of their last fixture, though? They're at home, which they've got a decent home record, but they're at home to Hull City, who are pushing for the playoffs.
So the only luck I feel that Blues had this weekend was that Ipswich and Hull drew, because it means that Hull still now have a chance of making the playoffs. They're not going to catch Norwich, but they could leapfrog West Brom if West Brom lose against Preston in their final game of the season. So Hull are going to home park with a motive to win. That makes me very happy, because it means that they're actually going to be gunning for them and they're actually going to put their all into it. Because, if there's nothing to play for, that managers are more inclined to maybe rotate the team, try out some youth players. Who knows what they're going to do? Yeah. But Hull are going to go there gunning for that win. Yeah. However, Plymouth are a decent home side. So I can't see Plymouth winning that game, but I could see them getting a draw. And I think Plymouth might come away with a point from that. So I'm going to go for a score draw.
Go for a score draw?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm not going to sort of disagree with that, but their situation is more complicated than most. So let me go through the scenarios for them. So they will be safe if our team lose. So they can lose, and if we lose to Norwich, we will be relegated. If Birmingham draw, so that will put us on the same points, then they would still be safe as long as they don't lose by more than 4 goals. Because they've got better goal difference than us, so that's a little bit more. So basically, Birmingham could potentially get a draw and stay up if Hull beat Plymouth by more than 4 goals. So it's a bit of a long shot. They're also safe. Plymouth are also safe if they win and Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday both lose, and that's even if Birmingham win. So that's a good scenario for them as well. They're safe if they win and Birmingham lose and either Blackburn or Sheffield Wednesday lose, and they can get relegated if they lose or draw and Birmingham win. So there's lots of scenarios there for them. So I presume their fans are going to have their phones and checking, just like we all will on the final day, looking at the various. It's going to be changed. I think the table will be changing.
The last game of the season's horrible when you're in this scenario, because you hear pockets of the crowd who get the information first, and you hear cheers and you hear ohs, and oh god, this last game of the season.
But the Plymouth fans are only going to really start, because all those scenarios I've given you, that Plymouth could potentially stay up or they could get relegated. The only thing that they need to be concerned about initially is if we win. Yeah. If we score, then they're going to look at all these different scenarios. Then they're looking at other teams as well. But if we don't win, then a draw would only be a problem if we drew and they were to lose by 4 goals. Then they would get relegated. So really, initially for them, it's all about us. So I can imagine on the final day, if we score, the Plymouth fans are getting their calculators out and looking at all the various scenarios. So they could get relegated. And obviously, if we win and they lose, they get relegated. Yeah. Okay. Then we come on to our team, Birmingham City, on 47 points. We're in 22nd place. Okay. Our last game, as you know, is at home to Norwich City. So what's your thoughts on that?
Pass.
Well, that's what the players do.
It's a Blues podcast and I'm skipping my own team's evaluation. This is a Blues podcast, so if you're tuning in, you've seen our previous videos and you know all about the frustrations of Birmingham City, and our players recently haven't been showing that passion, they haven't been showing that drive. we have to win this game. There is no ifs or buts about it. We have to go in. If we lose, I mean, it's out of our hands. We're in the relegation zone. So if we don't win this and pile the pressure on, there's no hope. So we have to win this game. A full packed out St.Andrews. And by the way, I'm not going to say that we necessarily deserve to win this game or we have the quality to win this game. I think a fully packed St.Andrews might get us over the line in this game, and that will be the only thing that gets us over the line. And I'm famous for saying that Blues tend to mess up games against Huddersfield and Rotherham and games they should win. We seem to somehow not. What do you say, Dad, all the time? Blues don't do what we expect them to do we?
Yeah.
And against Norwich, and we did it against Fulham, and we did it against Bolton. We do tend to have this reputation.
That's previous seasons, by the way, not this. We know that Bolton and Fulham aren't in the Championship.
No, but previous seasons we've hung on by the skin of our teeth against Fulham 3-1, I think it was. Blackburn, that last minute header. Bolton. So I am actually going to go for a win, but it's not going to be based on a win from quality. It's because of a packed out, full on St.Andrews, which I think is going to rally the players up enough to get them through. Blues win.
Yeah, okay. It's a must win.
It's a must win. We have to win.
And when we say a must win, because if we draw or lose, it doesn't matter what the other results are.
Exactly.
We are relegated. I say the only scenario is if we draw and then Plymouth lose by more than 4 goals. So a draw could keep us up in that unlikely scenario that they lose by 4
Come
goals.
on, Hull.
Well, yeah, but it is win. And again, we know that we've already had previously 5 sellouts at St.Andrews at Knighthead Park, and we've won every one of them.
Exactly. So, and that is my only reason for giving a win to Blues is the fact that we've got a full house at St. Andrews.
And do you know what? The atmosphere is going to be absolutely, it's going to be electric in there as well, and that should hopefully motivate the players. I've got to go for a Blues win. I've got to go for a Blues win.
I think if you're a Blues fan, the only way to be optimistic about this is to pick a win.
You've got to. So basically, if we lose, we're relegated. Okay, as I mentioned, if we draw and Plymouth lose by more than 4 goals, we're still safe even with a draw, but that is an unlikely. And obviously we're safe if we win and Plymouth lose or draw. Also we're safe if either Blackburn or Sheffield Wednesday lose and we win, because that would put us on the same points but better goal differences with both teams. So again, lots of scenarios for Blues. But the main thing for our team is that we have to. We've got no choice. If we draw, or obviously
I wonder,
lose. But apart from that one scenario with Plymouth losing by more than 4 goals, we're down.
I know we've got one more team to discuss. So no disrespect to Huddersfield, but I wonder what if you worked out like the outcomes you've just described: Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, and Blues. I wonder what the percentage would be for Birmingham City to stay up. Would it be 40%, 50%? I wonder what a computer based on science and data would class Birmingham City's chances of survival at the moment.
Do you know what gives me a little bit of comfort is that we're not just involved with one other team. There's us and 3 other teams above us that are involved in this. So it's not just relying on the result of one other game. So there's lots of other potential.
But we have to win. That's the thing, isn't it?
It could be that Matt, we could win, and if everybody else wins, we're still going to get relegated anyway, and that's just a fact. Just why we're in that bottom 3 going into this game. So it's in other people's hands as we stand. But I've got a feeling if we win, there's a good possibility that other teams possibly aren't going to. Therefore,
I personally can't see a Saturday afternoon going where Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, and Plymouth all win their games. Personally, I can't see that happening. But
it is the final day.
It's the final day. It's football. 100% that could happen. I'm not saying it won't, but I don't know. Football's an odd game, isn't it? It's a funny old game, and I think if we did somehow manage to pull off a miracle and beat Norwich at home, I don't know. I think one of those teams. I'm possibly looking at the Blackburn-Leicester game, to be perfectly honest. But who knows? It's going to be a
I think Plymouth have got a tough game as well.
Yeah,
Hull, like you said, have got.
But their home form's pretty good.
Yeah, but Hull have got to win, not draw.
Yeah.
Hull have got to win to get any chance of being in the playoffs. So I think that's a tough game as well. I think our game's not easy. Norwich are in the playoffs. So there's no easy game for anybody. I think the easiest fix, and I think they'll be safe, and this is totally respect to Sunderland, is that Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland, even like you said, their fans on social media saying that they've actually given up. Yeah. I can't see anything but a Sheffield Wednesday win there. Even if it was a draw, they would still stay up. Yeah. The final team, which we have to mention, because at the time of recording, they're not mathematically relegated, and that's Huddersfield. Yeah. They're on 45 points in 23rd place. Final game of the season, away to Ipswich Town. And before you give me the opinion, let me just give you the scenario. Yeah. They can stay up, right? But they have to beat Ipswich, and both Birmingham and Plymouth have to lose. But they'd also need to be a 15-goal swing in the goal difference between us to catch Plymouth and a 9-goal swing to catch Birmingham. So effectively, they're not mathematically down, but they're in my opinion, they're not going to beat Ipswich. Ipswich should probably be going for could be automatic or even the title.
In my opinion, Huddersfield are all. I think the fans knew that at the weekend at the stadium that they're all but down. There's no way it's going to be a 15-goal swing.
No, I think, but we sort of have to mention
what?
in the video though.
Imagine if somehow that happened, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I can't. Yeah,
I just thought if we hadn't included Huddersfield in this video, we'd have people commenting, "Oh, they're still not mathematically relegated." So we have to give them the respect that they're not at the moment, and even though that scenario isn't going to happen.
A 15-goal swing.
A 15-goal and beat Ipswich away. It's not going to happen.
Who are still trying to secure the top spot.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, they do play Coventry away on Tuesday, so they could have it secured by then. But Huddersfield still ain't going to go to Portman Road and win.
No, because Ipswich might be actually going for the title as well.
So. They're not going to win. In my opinion, they're not going to win that game regardless, let alone with the goal swing that they would need to do. Who goes to Portman Road and expects much this season? Ipswich are on fire, aren't they? So, but yeah.
Okay, and here's one final question for you, and I am going to put you on the spot here. Our team, Birmingham City, will we survive? Will we stay in the Championship?
You know what? We've been a little bit, the past few weeks, we've been a little bit more critical and glass half empty. I'm going to end this podcast on a positive, glass half full, fully packed out St. Andrews. I think we're going to win, and one of the 3 teams above us is going to lose, and a miracle is going to happen, and I think we're going to do it.
I do as well. Like I say, the one thing I said a few moments ago was that it's not just one team involved. There's 4 of us for effectively one space. Yeah, Huddersfield are still there, but they will take the second relegation place. So it's us and 3 other teams. So we're not just relying on one result, and I think we'll stay up.
And I know all fans will say when their stadium's packed out, they've got great atmospheres. And I know I'm not just putting St. Andrews and the Blues fans on a pedestal here, but how amazing is St. Andrews when it's rocking? Oh, it gets the hairs on the back of your neck.
You have to be there to experience it. It really is something that is to behold, and I think that is going to be the difference to get us the win.
That's my only reason why I've picked the Blues win is that we've got a packed out St. Andrews, and we really will bring the noise for that game. And I mean, the Tilton literally bounces when you're in it, so it's going to be wild and it's going to be tense.
It is going to be tense. It's going to be tense for the fans of all the other teams as well, and we know that fans from other clubs watch this podcast as well, and it'd be great to get your opinions as well, particularly the teams that we've mentioned in the video that are involved in this relegation battle. Please give us your opinions below, what you think about your team and your chances of staying up. But we're used to this as Birmingham City supporters. We've been embroiled in relegation battles for years. It's not a nice position to be in, and everybody says at some point your luck will run out. It may be. Our luck may run out this season, but me and Matt are still hanging on to the fact that we think that we have enough to stay up based upon the fact that we're at home. But for us, we call it squeaky brum time because we are in this position before and we know what it's all about. So please leave a comment below on what you think about your team if you're involved in this relegation battle, or maybe fans from other teams. Let us know who you think will be the team that will join Rotherham and almost definitely Huddersfield into League One next season. So yeah, pop a comment below and let us know. And me and Matt will be interested to see what your thoughts are. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure that you press that subscribe button for any future videos. And also as well, check out our social media channels by the handles that you'll see appearing on the screen now for our Instagram accounts and for our X accounts. And hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And myself and Matt will see you on our next video.